Generations versus Notgrass. What are the differences? What are the similarities? Which one is going to be best for you? Hopefully, I'm going to be able to answer that question in this video. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler, and I am a curriculum hoarder. Maybe. Probably. Most likely. So I have a lot of curriculum, and one of my favorite things to do is to review curriculum here on my channel. And one thing that I do every now and then is I do a versus type of video where basically I compare two different curriculum that are kind of similar but have different approaches or maybe do things a little bit different, so you can see the differences between the two. And if you're like me and haven't been able to go to a homeschool convention, maybe one's just not, near you like us, we travel a lot because we're a military family, then this is going to be vital for you to understand the differences between these two companies. So I have 2 levels of Notgrass and I have 2 levels of Generations. And I feel pretty confident about both of them to be able to do this video. Even though we haven't cracked open the newest one yet, I've actually read it because I've been preparing for the new school year. So I have a pretty good idea of how it's set up and how it's different from Generations, which we just finished this last year. Okay, so let's get into the video. But first, if you haven't yet, make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe button so you will get more of these videos in your feed to help you on your homeschooling journey. I do all kinds of videos about curriculum, and that's pretty much the thing that I am known for, is curriculum reviews. So hit that like and subscribe button so you can get all the curriculum reviews and see what we're going to be doing throughout the school year. So let's first talk about the similarities, because when we're talking about Notgrass and Generations, there are a lot of similarities I have noticed. So first, these two are pretty much open and go. You're not going to have to do a whole lot of planning, but I do suggest for both of these that you look ahead, at least a week ahead, so you know what to do, just in case there's any projects, because both of these curriculum have projects integrated into the curriculum all throughout at different points. So like with the Notgrass with America the Beautiful, which is this book here, these books are really heavy, which is this book here, they have throughout the chapters different projects for you to either do as a family or for the child to do individually. So I do suggest looking ahead so these don't sneak up on you and you have the supplies on hand. With Generations, every Friday is a flex day, meaning that it's an optional day to do things. They have everything from kinesthetic activities to art to all kinds of things in here. I mean, there's even been like some math and science things that we have found in the Taking Europe for Jesus, which has been such a cool curriculum. I was really, really impressed with this one. So Fridays, you have the opportunity to do that. So I suggest looking at those. Those will all be in this book. And that is the student workbook / teacher's manual. So there's a schedule in there. Take a look at that, see what they're supposed to do or see what the suggested things are. And of course, it's optional, you don't have to do it. Both Notgrass and Generations can be used independently by your student with parental oversight. So if you are kind of like me and you teach your children to work independently, I have to do this a lot because I have several chronic illnesses. So if I get sick for a week or something, I can say, okay, go do your history assignment and I'll check it when you're finished. And my kids are totally capable of doing that, and I've had to teach them how to do that since they were little, and they're pros at it by now, which is good because they're going to need that skill when they go to college anyway. So both of these companies promote independent learning for your child. That is a good thing. So while I'm not saying be completely hands off with it, because I'm definitely not, I am definitely all hands on deck with it. You can do, minimal oversight with it and you would be just fine. They would still grasp everything and they would still finish the curriculum. So these both promote independent learning, which is great. Both companies have the option to do the curriculum with multiple children. So I've mentioned this in several different videos before. You can group your kids by those levels Even though they have a suggested grade at the top, that doesn't mean that you have to do that. You can actually group, you know, your elementary kids together and do one. You can group your middle and do one. You can group your high school and do some. And you can even break the rules like I do and just kind of, you know, put your high schooler in the same class as your middle schooler because your middle schooler is advanced. And, you know, you can be creative here. So you have the option to do that. And Notgrass is the same way with elementary, middle, and high school. You can mix and match. You can group kids together. So you don't have to buy separate curriculum for a bunch of different kids. You can just buy the consumables. So, you know, you have your textbook and then you have a consumable, which is, you know, the workbook. And you can just buy multiples of the consumables for your kids if you need to. Both of these curriculum come with tests. And you know, depending on your state rules, what you have to do if you're in a cover school like me and you need to have a grade, they do have tests included. Now, I don't know about the elementary levels because I did not use either one of these companies for elementary school. We were doing My Father's World for elementary school and they did not have testing. Notgrass and Generations both have tests integrated in if you know, so choose to do those. We do because we need the grade for our cover school, which is fine. You may not, that's fine. I don't, you know, whatever floats your boat. But you do have, you know, a quiz book for Notgrass, and for your Generations people like me, you have tests in the student workbook and the answers are in the back. So what I do is I go through it, I pull out the tests, I put them in my notebook, I pull out the answers and put those in my notebook, and then I give the notebook to the kids. Easy peasy. One thing I want to say about both Notgrass and Generations, their textbooks are beautiful. Both of them have gorgeous photography in their books. They usually have color books. Now, I haven't had every single textbook from both companies. So, you know, of course, check the company website for the textbooks, look at the samples, things like that. But the books that I have ordered from both Notgrass and Generations have both been very beautiful books. Very engaging books. You know, there's lots of colors and things, and you know, I have never been bored reading either one of their textbooks. So, and one last thing about both companies that are similar is neither one of them have a true dedicated teacher book. So a lot of companies have a true, like, just for the teacher book. Abeka does this, My Father's World does this, BJU. A lot of them have their own dedicated teacher book. Both of these companies, they combine their teacher book with other things, so you have less material. So I'm sorry, I know I keep turning, but it's because I'm grabbing books to show you. So forgive me for that. So for Generations usually combines their teacher book and their student workbook. So your consumable, the front part of it is the teacher book. The answers for the teacher book are in the back of the student workbook for everyone that I have ordered so far. It's pretty much the same with master books. So if you've done master books before, Generations is pretty much the same style. For Notgrass, it's a little bit different. And you may or may not like this part of it depending on, you know, how you work. But it's pretty easy when you get used to it. You basically do one lesson a week in Notgrass. And at the end of the lesson in the textbook, so these big books here, you will have a list of things that they want you to accomplish. So whether that is a test, whether that is reading some of the literature books, whether that is doing a map activity or a timeline activity, all of that is going to be in there. So you're going to read the assignment and then you're going to do the activities, or you can integrate them. You have a lot of freedom with this. There is no like set schedule. So that's how Notgrass works. It's in the actual reading text part of your book and it tells you what to do next. So you're just going to basically follow along in the book. You're going to read and then you're going to do what it tells you to do. So pretty simple. It's not like a teacher book isn't really needed for that because it's right there anyway. So that's how that works. So they both don't have a true teacher book, but they do have guidance for the parents. Both Notgrass and Generations are Christian companies, so you're not going to have, you know, secular resources all over the place with these books. Generations especially is very biblical, and both of them tie everything back to Christ. So you're not going to have to worry about anything coming up, you know, that you might be worried about in these books. So there's that as well. So let's go into how these are different. So let's talk about Generations first. Generations is more affordable. I'm going to be completely honest. You guys know I'm very honest in my reviews, even if I am an affiliate of both of these companies. But I'm very honest, and I'm only an affiliate with things that I actually use. So I use both of these companies. I enjoy both of these companies, but they're different. And Generations is more affordable. So if you have a tight budget, Generations is going to be the route you want to go. Generations has sales that happen all the time. I try to send out emails. If you're on my email list, if you're not on my email list and you want to be on my email list, post a comment here. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description box. I try to post when Generations has sales because their prices are already pretty low. And then when they put them on sale, it's like Christmas time. I do not know the sales schedule of Notgrass. So I have no idea how they work that. I don't know if they do sales or anything like that. I don't know if they do, you know, coupon codes and things like that. I honestly don't know. But Generations, I can tell you, has sales constantly. So definitely follow my social medias and sign up for my email list, and you will get the alerts when sales go on. So I can get these sometimes up to half off of the already super low prices, which is really convenient for me. So pricing is definitely different, but there's a reason why pricing is different, and I'm going to get into that when I talk about Notgrass. So Generations is definitely more affordable, and there's less books. So if you are a minimalist homeschooler and you don't have a whole lot of room, Generations is probably going to be a lot easier for you to do because you're only getting 2 books. So this is history for 6th grade. And this was plenty, honestly. This was absolutely plenty. There were no holes. There were no, you know, wow, I wish we would have read about this or something like that. This was plenty. This was very meaty. They packed a lot into these 2 books right here, and your student book has a lot of activities in it, so there's all kinds of expansion things and expansion opportunities for you to do within Generations. So one of the biggest differences is there is a schedule with this book versus Notgrass does not have like an actual schedule for you as the teacher. So the first section of your book, like the first 10 or 15 pages, is going to be an outline of the course, how to grade the course, what you're supposed to do, what they're going to be learning, kind of like an introduction to the whole thing. And then it jumps into schedules. And some classes for Generations have multiple different schedules. So they have sometimes ones where you can, like our American history last year for high school. The high school American history, there was an option for you to do a 1-year or a 2-year, and they had like 2 or 3 different schedules. So they had all kinds of different schedules for that. So what they do is they basically outline those 32 weeks or so, however many is in that curriculum, and they tell you Monday do this, Tuesday do this, Wednesday do this, you know, all the way down to Friday. And they will do that for the whole school year. So you can just check it off, and there's even a place where you can not just check it off, but actually put the grade that they got. So you can tear those papers out and put it in their portfolio at the end of the year, or at least that's what I do. So they do have a teacher schedule there for you, and it's very convenient. Generations is also very easy to expand upon. So if you're learning about a central figure or a group of people, it's really easy to find books that pair with that, especially through the Generations website. So as a quick example, last year we learned about the Huguenots in this book, and they had a book on the Huguenots, like a novel type book on the Huguenots on their website. I purchased that, and we read that to go along with our lesson, and you know, it was kind of like an expansion activity. We also did the trifold boards, which you might have seen on my social media, and that was a lot of fun. My son, that was his first time doing trifold board projects, and he loved it. So now I know that he likes those types of projects. So, you know, if I see those again in an upcoming school year, we're definitely going to be doing those. All right, so let's talk about Notgrass. Notgrass is a bit different, and the first and biggest thing you're going to notice is the price. The price is much higher for Notgrass. I spent probably 2 or 3 times on Notgrass that I would have for Generations, maybe more, and that's on the website. Okay, but there's a reason why it is more expensive. is because you're getting a lot more books. You can always buy used. Sometimes I buy used. We have like a homeschool used store that I can drive to. I can call them and say, hey, do you have this book? And they'll ship it to me. And I can save a lot of money that way. So let's just look at America the Beautiful. I bought America the Beautiful for my upcoming 7th grader. We're going to be doing that in the new school year because we're doing the Generations History for a different project in our school stuff. And you can see more about that in other videos. There's a lot of books here. Okay, so I'm going to show you. So Generations 6th grade comes with this, and Generations 7th grade is also 2 books just like this. Okay, so just so you know to compare. So America the Beautiful has a lot of pieces. Now, not all of these pieces are required. You can just get the textbooks and, you know, just do that. But, you know, we're overachievers over here. So just, I bought everything that comes with this. All right, so many of Notgrass's books, and this is including the world history that I have over here as well, comes with 2 textbooks. So there's a lot of reading material. So this is actually the second one. This is the first one. Okay, so textbook 1, textbook 2, okay? And then they have an additional hardback book that goes with it that has different excerpts from, you know, newspapers, magazine articles, speeches, short stories, things like that, that pair with your textbook. That's the basis of the curriculum. And remember, the teacher stuff is at the end of those, so you get that. Then there's all of these books. So we have the student workbook, which I believe is optional. We have the lesson review. We have the timeline. We have the maps. And then I have the answer key, which is obviously for me. And then there's one last piece. Then you have the readers. So the readers, again, are optional. It's a literature component that you can add to your curriculum. So there's a lot of books. There is a lot of books. There's about 10 different books for the literature component. So there's a lot. There is a lot in here, but if you're using this as your spine, then it would make sense that you would want this amount. So, you know, you can kind of play with it and kind of, you know, alter it any way that you want. Now, to show you what world history looks like, the Generations World History comes with 2 books as well. So for Generations, their American history book was very thick. Honestly, I wish they would have broken it up into 2 books because that book was ginormous and it can be used for 2 solid years. This one, I'm not sure if it can be used for 2 years. Honestly, it would not surprise me if this was a 2-credit class. I don't know. I haven't used this one yet, but I did go ahead and buy it when it was on sale for my youngest child. But their history of the world, here is the student teacher book here, and then 2 textbooks. So you're still getting 2 textbooks here, even with this one. So Notgrass is the same way. You've got the 2 textbooks again here, and then you have the In Their Words book, which is the external 3rd component that has like short stories and articles and things like that inside of it, and it goes directly with those other 2 textbooks. And then you have the quiz and exam book, and then you have the answer book. And then they also have a literature component, but I did not buy it for that school year, so I don't actually have that book. But I already had a lot of the readers that went with it anyway at the house, so I didn't feel like I needed to buy that. Okay, so in summary, Notgrass costs much more, but you get a lot more. And Notgrass has the hardback textbooks where the Generations is the soft cover, so they might last a little bit longer on your shelf, especially if you're like me and you pass it down. You're definitely going to have those books for years to come. So Notgrass also has, like I showed you in those little bits here, where they have the add-on components. So you have a bunch of literature add-ons, you have maps, you have timelines, you have obviously literature, you have all kinds of things that you can add to it to make it as big or as little as you want. And, you know, you can tailor that to your family. So, you know, it really just depends on your family and your kids. My kid is a huge reader. He loves to read, so I knew getting the literature component for him would be a good thing. So I went ahead and bought that for him, and I know he's really going to enjoy it. And I've already started reading some of the readers for the upcoming year. I just finished the Dakota book. That one was really good. I'm gonna go into the next book here pretty soon. But you get so much more, and you can add on things or take them away. You can totally make your own package on the Notgrass website. The last thing, there is no teacher book with Notgrass, but like I've mentioned before, it's not really needed. Everything is just there for you to kind of follow along and just make your own schedule. So, you know, if you're one of those people that just hates schedules and things like that, and you just want to do your own thing, Notgrass is definitely for you. You know, you can just kind of do whatever you want to do, and it's totally fine. And you can kind of just make it up as you go along, or you can follow what they tell you to do. But, you know, no teacher book is really needed for Notgrass at all. It's pretty self-explanatory. The only thing that kind of annoys me sometimes is that I have to turn to the end. So what I do, just to make that a bit easier, is I put bookmarks there. So, you know, those little like post-it notes, those little skinny post-it notes, I stick those in the book at the end of the chapter so I can just, you know, flip there really quick, and that totally takes care of it. Easy peasy. That is my comparison of Notgrass versus Generations. What would you add? Let me know down in the comments. I have not used Notgrass a whole lot. I feel like I have way more experience in Generation than I do in Notgrass. I've only used Notgrass World History once. That was my only experience with Notgrass. I feel like it was a great curriculum. We really liked it, and I kept it for my youngest, but now I have 2 world histories and I don't know which one I'm gonna end up doing, so we'll just have to wait and see. It's gonna be a surprise for all of us. I have Generations and Notgrass World History, so I'm totally torn on which one to do. But I do lean more heavily towards one than the other, so that's probably gonna be the one that I do. But I don't know, just stay tuned to find out. It'll be a surprise. We're really excited to do America the Beautiful, and we're going to be doing Generations History as a Bible curriculum because it's more biblical history. So I feel like we're doing both this year. So we're getting a taste of both, and I will definitely update you throughout the year on how I like both of the Notgrass and Generations History programs this year. So stay tuned for videos upcoming on that. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great rest of your day and happy homeschooling.